Welcome to the home of Invoq. We're going to have an introduction to the Invoq oven. The oven is opening in 2 steps. It's a safety feature, so we can let out all steam and heat and open it like this. It's a 3-layer glass door, so we can release it here and here. And we can swing them up here to do an easy clean. The 3 layers ensure that it don't gonna be hot on the outside, so it's also a safety feature. In the bottom of the oven, we have the drain. Here on the side of the oven, we find the probe. The reason for that is it prolongs the living time of the probe. Within the probe here, we find the access for the USB that we are using for import and export of recipes. Underneath, we have the access for the boiler, only used for descaling, and the hand shower. Here underneath, we have a little filter. It's just puff it off. You can split it apart like this and wash it in the dishwasher. And we recommend it to do it every single week. The screen is glued to the glass, so you have the same touch feeling that you have on your tablet or your smartphone. And the system is the same. It's Android based, and it's very easy to understand and operate. It turns on in just 3 seconds, and then it's on. So here's the home screen, and we're starting with the manual mode. Here we have all the options. You have steam, then we have the convection, and the Combi mode. It will always start with beeping here. It's a preheat, and it will always preheat 10 degrees above your set temperature. If you don't want it, just press the red cross, and it's off. To set the temperature, you can scroll like this, and you have an increasement of 5 degrees every time. If you want something more precise, you just hold in like this, and you can do whatever you want, like 51 degrees. Here on the other side, it's the steam you control, the humidity. And in the bottom, you have the time. You can also use with the probe. And here in the burger bar, you have several options. You have the normal probe, as you know it. You can cook with the delta function and the cook and hold. Cook and hold is delta, plus that it holds the temperature, the core temperature. The delta function is meant for mainly overnight cook. You set your delta here. We recommend as a standard 20 degrees, but you could go down all the way to 10 degrees. And the delta function is that you put your core temperature here, and the delta is the temperature in the oven, and it will raise 10 degrees above the core temperature. So it's a slow cook. Cooking with time. Here we also have some more options. Ordinary time, continuous time, then the oven will just run until you stop it. We have the RackTimer. Here you have a timer on every rack in the oven, and the possibility to use the probe on one of them. And the final adjustment you can do here is the fan speed. So let's go to the convection. Here we don't have the steam, of course, so we only have the setting of the temperature and the timer. Equally, we have the same options here. And we can also preheat and cool down. And with the probe, the same. Normal temperature, delta, and cook and hold. We also can control the fan speed. And a new option here is that we can close or open the exhaust. And the last one is water spray on the heat element, mostly used for bake. So you can add from 0 to 19 seconds of injection steam. Then we go to the steam. In the same settings, you have the temperature here, the time, and in the bottom, we only have the fan. Then let's look into the recipes. It comes with 80 plus pre-made recipes that we have made here at Invoq. It's meant like an inspiration, but you can at any time adjust our recipes and make them your own. Here they are all grouped together. The small clock here will show the latest recipes that have been used on the oven. The next here, they are all grouped, and you can create new groups if you want. And the last one is your favorite recipes that we always recommend to use when you're creating a new one, so it's easier to access and find. On the top you see two icons. The first is the USB stick that we talked about earlier. So you see the options. We can import recipes, export them. We can find the hazard reports. We can import images, export images, so you can customize and make it your own. And the other option up here is the little pen. It's used for when you want to correct a recipe. So let's try this. You have it here. We just press it. And now we can rearrange if you want. Or we can correct the time, the temperature. You have the full control. Let's try to create a recipe. It's just to push the plus. Gonna name it. Gonna do a recipe for bread. Then I mentioned earlier to press the star so it's easier to find. So gonna come into your favorites. You can add a little description if you want to brush the bread or how many bread you want on your tray. Then you can select one of the pre-made image that is on the oven. If nothing suits, we always have the icons. And finally, you can do your own and put it on your USB, and it's just to press here. But we'll just go with the icon here. And then you can put it into one of the groups. So we put it in here. And then we are ready to create the recipe. So we just press Add Steps. We always recommend to preheat the oven. And let's say it's a sourdough, so we go for the maximum of heat in the preheat, which is 300 degrees. And the 1 minute you see here is when it has reached 300 degrees, it will hold the temperature for 1 minute to ensure that the whole cavity is 300 degrees and it's hot enough for us. Then we add the next step. Gonna choose the note step. The note step will signal that we have to do something, take an action. The first one you can just put in whatever you want. You can stir, you can brush, take out, put in, or insert the probe. But in this case, we just want to put in our product. And then we add the next step. Gonna cook with convection at a max temperature that is 250. And let's do it for 4 minutes in first step. And then we're gonna add some more. Gonna add some water injection, and with a closed exhaust. Convection again. Same temperature. 6 minutes. And this time we're gonna open the exhaust to ensure the coloration and the crispiness of the breadcrumb. And that's our recipe. We can always correct it, but that is how easy it is. Now we can find it on the bread or in our favorites right here. Then we have the SmartChef. It's a full automatic cooking. We are using the probe. And first of all, you have to select the item you want to cook. So let's say we're gonna cook some chicken. How you're gonna cook it? We're gonna select a roasting. And here you have our presetting. You have the coloration of the meat and the temperature. And it's just to press start and insert your probe, and you're good to go. If you like the final result, you can always save it. You're gonna ask if you wanna save the recipe in the end. And the SmartChef is used for bigger changes with not necessary educated people in the kitchen. So it's a very easy way to cook something you have never tried before. And you have always the option to look here to see the recipe that's pre-made. Then we have the settings. In here you can change the language, of course, the volume of the sound of the oven. You could do updates, and you can do software reports. If you have any failure on your oven, just make a system report, and then we can see exactly what is wrong and correct the error. Then we have more. We have the possibility to cool down. It's just to press it. You can do it with the closed door. Then it cool down with water. The other option is to open the door, and then the fan will just blow out the hot air. The next one is a startup timer. It's your possibility to make the oven start up by itself when you come to work. You can choose the day of the week, the time, let's say 7 o'clock, and the recipe you want to cook as the first one in the day. And now that it's on, every day it will start up at 7 o'clock and be ready for you to bake. In here, we also have the possibility to prove your bread. Go to proving. In the proving, we only have to set the temperature. You can go from 30 up to 40 and adjust the time. The oven will regulate the steam inside the oven to create a perfect environment for the proving of your bread. The last function is the MenuPlanner. It has been created with some of the biggest fast food chains in the world and is a combination of menus or recipes and the RackTimer function. For using the MenuPlanner, you have to group your recipes like this. We could do a breakfast, and then we can start adding recipes. There are some that's pre-made here. Otherwise, you just create a new one. And you have to select the cooking mode. And the important thing is that everything inside the same group has to have the same settings. So if we choose 180, everything has to be cooked at 180. And then we can just select whatever items we want. And they are now grouped together. Once you have all your recipes inside your folder, we are ready to go. You can take one by one and drag them down, and then you load the oven like this, and it will tell you whenever they're ready. The second option, you can select several, and then like this, and then it will ask you to load the oven one by one, so every product is finished at the same time. Now for the CareCycle. Here we have all the options for the cleaning. The first one is the drain. It's for emptying the drain. It's only necessary if you spill some water, if you're cooking potatoes or pasta and want to drain it from the oven. You have the possibility. If you do it in a program or while cooking, the oven will drain itself, but if you want it immediately, you have the possibility here. The next one is the flush. Just a quick rinse with water if the cavity is a little dirty from some baking. Then we have the schedule. Here you can put up to 2 washes per day. The oven will suggest that you clean the oven at a specific day and a specific time. It's optional, so you can skip it if you want, but you can do it so it's mandatory. Then we have the descale of the steam generator. It's done on the side of the oven under the little cap that I showed in the beginning. The oven will ask itself for the descaling after 70 hours of full steam. The next one is descaling of the cavity. It's the same descaling tabs we are using. And as you see in the little animation, it will show you how many tabs and where to place it. It's always in the basket. And don't forget to wear gloves. The small one is for descaling, and the big one is for the cleaning of the oven, the CareCycle. The oven will not ask for descaling, so it's only when you think it's needed. You can see it on the inner glass that you'll see some limestone. Above, you have the ordinary cleaning. You have a light, a medium, and an intensive. It's with higher heat. If you have cooked a lot greasy products, that's where you're gonna go for. The turbo is with tap as well, but it's a very quick. You will use it just before service or if it's not that dirty. And the 2 eco ones, as you can see, takes 2.5 and 3.5 hours. They're using less energy and less water, but if you have heavy dirt in the oven, especially fat, you should go for the 2 medium or intensive. If you are a big chain, you can use our QSR mode. It means that you can block out the manual mode and functions and only have the recipes that have been chosen. It looks like this. And the only option you have is to use the preset recipes. In the button here, we have the shortcuts for the cleaning cycles. We have the little hand with the sponge. It's for cleaning. It gives you 5 seconds to clean the screen. And we have a shortcut for the settings. You can switch them with other shortcuts if you want, or delete them, and it's done in the general settings.